Welcome back to the Cold Harbor Supply YouTube channel. My name is Steven. Today we're going to talk about what's on my head right now, the Tracer Tactical NVG Head Harness V2. Let's get into it. So the Tracer Harness V1 was very popular, and this is still going to be available. It'll come in a kit configuration, meaning it'll come exactly as you see here. When you take it out of the bag, it'll come with a bunch of different pieces. Not obvious, but you guys should know is if you guys are looking for the instructions, you can scan this QR code on the back here. And when you scan it, you'll get access to an instructional video going into how to set up the V1. So I won't get into that because that's been out for about a year or so now. Let's get into what is new about the V2. The V2 is basically all the feedback that we've received about the V1, and Tracer Tactical has gone ahead and incorporated that into a harness that comes now mostly pre-assembled. So exactly when you pull it out of the bag, it's going to go look exactly like this. The only thing is your crown pad is now no longer foam. I mean, it's still foam, it's closed cell foam, but now it's encased in fabric that has a loop Velcro on the back. You can completely remove that. Before on the V1, the foam would be, sometimes they get torn up and then you can still replace it, but this one you can actually completely remove. And what's nice about this is you can now attach the shroud quite easily and then simply just stick this crown pad on top. And now it gives you full access to the shroud screws if you need to. But more importantly, you can always take this out and wash it. Another thing that's improved about the V2 is much wider straps. That's going to ride on top of your head like here. And why that's important is that from our experience with the V1, it's still a great system, but the V2 distributes a lot of that weight very much evenly over the top and the back of your head. As you can see, there's quite a bit of material over the top of your head. One thing we did notice, and this is a tip for you guys with smaller heads or maybe even regularly sized heads, the crown pad or the crown attachment point comes like this. But what we actually had to do was kind of hack it a little bit, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. So let's remove this pad here. What we did was we actually removed the tri-glide completely and then just threaded this thing all the way through to the point where this is actually inside the Tegris or the curve piece, and then we double backed it upon itself and then fed the tri-glide back through. So that's the way that we found to work. Otherwise, you can have too much slack at the top of your head, and it's going to be riding this part basically here is going to be riding on top of your ears, which makes it super uncomfortable. If you get it and it's kind of fitting all kind of weird, what we recommend is basically doing what I just did, kind of shortening this top piece so it's very much close to your front by removing the tri-glide and then feeding it back through, and then you can, I guess, secure it this way so you don't have any loose straps. So that makes it for a very tight, clean appearance. That's exactly how I have it here. Another thing that's improved about the V2 is now the built-in Precore strap. On the V1, this was an elastic strap, which is comfortable. It's a much lighter weight, but the Precore strap, especially when you have binocular NVGs, this Precore strap basically allows you to really cinch that harness down on top of the back of your head, the nape of the neck. What we also recommend is to pick up, if you're planning on wearing binocular night vision or even monocular night vision with attachments, etc., for an extended period of time, definitely get the counterweight pouch, the one that I have on the back here. It's optional, but highly recommended. The reason why we recommend it is there is quite a bit of weight going to be dangling off the front of your head. It's similar to any system. If you have too much weight on your head, the whole harness is going to slide forward. So that counterweight pouch, which is specially made by Tracer Tactical for this system, will actually attach via these two tri-glides on the back, and I'll thread through the back here, and essentially it'll be really solid along the back. The counterweight pouch does not come with weight, but you can get the bag. We actually have a 2-pound bag of scuba weight that we basically bought off Amazon. And it comes as a 2-pound bag. You put it in there, close the flap, and then off you go. So depending on what system that you have, you're just going to want to buy the right amount of weight, whether it's 1 pound for binoculars or maybe 2 pounds for binoculars. From my experience, for something like a Manticore R that I have here with mil-spec lenses, 2 pound is the perfect amount of weight. I think we were doing some media earlier, and this setup I've been wearing probably for the last hour or so, and honestly, it feels like it's not even on. Obviously, the other thing is it helps if you have like a balaclava or anything head covering to kind of make sure you don't have a ton of hot spots and not tugging on your hair or anything like that. But what we found is that if you kind of make sure that you spend a little bit of time adjusting the tri-glides, adjusting the settings, getting the right counterweight set up, it's going to make for a very extremely more comfortable system. That was one of the big improvements between the V2 over the V1, is that the V2 is meant to be more of a heavy version or feature-rich version that you can wear for long periods of time. And from our experience of just wearing it, that is definitely true. Now that these chin strap attachment points, they're basically going to be a curved material, and how you can install them is basically just slide them in here like this, and they will basically bend and then be able to lie extremely flat here so that you can wear Ear Pro without having any hot spots. One last thing I quickly want to mention is that now we have a dedicated space for strobes, and we'll also be including a little bungee cord, so you can actually run the counterweight pouch with the weights as well as a PVS-31A battery pack, or the cold weather battery pack, retained. So you can kind of basically have a very feature-rich setup that is a true helmet replacement in the form of the Tracer Harness V2. We offer this as a no shroud configuration. If you already have your own shroud, you can add a PGD shroud, or you can add the Unity Summit shroud like the one that I have here on my head. So we're going to be offering this in traditional multicam classic, multicam black, Ranger green, and black also. So those are your four main colors that we're going to be offering it in. Hopefully that was helpful, guys. Thanks for watching.